What's up everyone, it's Jambors, new video, and this is a Q&A video. I received a lot of questions, I think the record questions from you today or for this video, and I'm very glad for it. I won't really make you wait because anyway this video probably will be very long because I really want to answer honestly all of your questions. At least what I saw, there are plenty very interesting topics, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I'm pretty sure of it. Let's talk. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Of course, I need to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video if you haven't done it yet. Of course, you can support this channel by buying me coffee or giving me a super like. And if you want more fresh content just for you, you can become a member because there is in the section some special exclusive content for you, and also you will receive time exclusivity for all of my videos. Basically, you will be able to watch them at the moment I upload them. This is what it means to become a member, but I will answer all your questions. But one thing I will do first, I will answer the members question. So let's start with the first one, which it's from Trick XP. I think I have more questions from this side, so let's start with the first one. Do you think we will ever see a change in the national selection in the Czech Republic and ESCZ will be in the Melody Festival format? Well, in 2020, I want this. I wanted to have a big show. I found the money for it or a budget for it, even though it was very tight, but it still was a perfect budget for it. But then the show was for some production reason cancelled and I decided to leave. But I really wish this will happen one day. I think you need to do it this way, or let's say MGP way, this kind of way, very properly, or not doing it. In my opinion, the middle way, what we did, and that was in my opinion very smart, was, and I think it was evolutionized even after my departure, was those music videos or so almost live on tape videos, which kind of work. They had idea, they shown the personality of each artist somehow a little bit, and they had also their quality with all the control environment. In my opinion, we need, if we are in general, if we are doing something in here in Czechia, we need to do it really properly, not ad hoc, not the way how it was done the previous ESCZ in the way, because then it didn't help anybody, in my opinion. Not with reputation, not with quality. It was just speculations, nothing really worth it. But you know, it's about experience. People gain experience also by doing things wrong, and this is important. So there is nothing wrong about that. We are testing the limits. In my opinion, this is also nice to do because I think we do a lot of work for other countries, and I think also we inspired a lot of countries with our approach in general, because it just was, and I think it still is, a little bit different. And I think we are sending very nice things to Eurovision since 2016. So yeah, that's my answer for this. The other question, also from Trick XP. I wanted to ask about press influencer gifts from artists. I've seen such ESCZ24, ESC24 gift packages from Greece, Bandana, and Italy, Ayoyo, for other artists and media members. If we also gave such gifts during your time as HOD, what kind of gifts were they? Yes, the answer is yes. I think also this year we had some of those iconic t-shirts, and I think every year there is something new. We always try to be original. So I don't remember all of them, but I think the masterpiece was when we went with Lake Malawi and we decided to go on this retro wave much sooner than it became a thing, in my opinion. And our production really find all those old Walkmans, and we put Lake Malawi songs on the tape, like the old one. It is this generational thing, but for me, for example, this is something I was raised on those tapes, you know. And we gave it to journalists and to other people. We have very limited resources because it was very hard to find the ones which still work. It was super hard, also with headphones and so on. I think some people didn't even know what it is. That was very funny. So we did, and I think every year we do something like this as a PR package. As a PR package. So this is kind of normal. This is part of the show. It's nice also to have such things. I don't remember what was for Mikolas Josef. I think that was also very nice. That was those glasses. That was this Mikolas Josef pack glasses, and then we saw also on the internet that so many people are selling for a real crazy money because of course those things are limited. Well, I think this is some nice fun and fun service basically because we're talking more about funds over there in general, more or less hardcore. And yes, this is happening. I think most of delegations have something like this, even though I think it's not that extra important to have it. Nowadays, it's a nice detail. Okay, let's move on. Again, Trick 6P. A lot of people, media are talking about the possible influence of the Moroccan oil sponsor on the content of the event. Can you say anything about that? To me, it's complete bullshit. And again, that you want to spread lies and don't realize that a different sponsor would have the same influence, only it would be an Israeli sponsor but an Italian one. Do we really need a neutral sponsor or sponsor from a country that does not compete in Eurovision? Well, this is a tricky question. I will be very, very speculative in here. In general, it's really an opinion because I have no clue how Moroccan oil works at Eurovision. It wasn't there when I was there. And I would say in general, because if you take from sports, sponsors are influential in general because they buy something, they expect something, some behavior more likely. They're kind of, I think it was very visible in football, kind of when there was this huge scandal over FIFA with bribes and so on, that so many sponsors said, if you want change, we will leave. So that's how the sponsors can be influential. I believe that Moroccan oil can be influential at some point, and this is the sponsors' right at some point. How much influential it could be, I have no clue. In my opinion, it was influential in the way that it pays a lot of money for Eurovision to exist. So this is probably very influential. If this is the perfect sponsor, I don't know. This is so hard. First of all, I don't know how it works. Second, like this deal. Second of all, I don't know if they want to secure another year or what's happening, but I think I can imagine that as an Israeli company, they are not really happy about the seriousness of let's really anti-Semitism spreading or the news way put the way or the information, especially from fandom media and artists, put the way that everything is Israeli's fault, which helps anti-Semites, the real ones, to gain power, which is very dangerous for all the society. So I can imagine that if it's my company, I wouldn't be also happy about it, that EBU don't act, that also don't act against the broadcasters who's encouraging this, not act about the fans who are encouraging this and keeps them in the bubble. And I wouldn't be even probably happy about the way of EBU's communication. Like for sure, I wouldn't be happy as a sponsor about this, and maybe I would be also pushing. I would ask like, hey, come on, we are putting our name into the contest, and you're doing nothing about this. That's what I would definitely raise a voice from a sponsor side. How Moroccan Oil is doing it, I don't know, but I can imagine that any other sponsor of such size, so general sponsor, would do this. Doesn't matter if Israeli or Italian, because I think also their brand is connected to the brand itself, and it has a value, but also it can backfire. So, as a sponsor, you will try for sure to make your investments relevant, which, as you said, doesn't matter if it's Israeli or Italian one, and we saw the damage. Of course, I think regular people, regular viewers, they don't really care about everything around. But I think the huge bubble, a huge group around the people, and all those scandals happened, which all the news around the world took, damaged the brand, and it was done because of the very bad communication from EBU and also absolutely unacceptable behavior from artists and fans around the contest, who basically was extremely one-sided, just because Israel was there. That's the reason. So I think there are many things why, like or how sponsors, whoever sponsor, can raise their fingers and like, not really good communication. And I think this goes on the EBU's head, in my opinion, the communications. Rick XP, I think this is last question from you. You can write them. First of all, because you asked like it's too many questions. No, it's never too many questions. It's like why I'm doing Q&A. I can do it 1 hour, I can do it 2 hours, I can do it 20 minutes, depends. It's up to you. So would you be interested if Eurovision used the same stage for a couple of years? I think the contestants use the same stage could allow artists to be more creative and fully utilize the stage as they would be familiar with its layout and features. No, because I think stage every year in general in any TV show, if it's not Let's Dance, which is more likely done, set up, because you cannot change the measures for such events, because Eurovision is basically an event, should be original. In my opinion, this is something what makes every Eurovision unique, every artistry unique, and also the ideas unique. And we saw that if we have stage like this, like it was now in Sweden, very creative, gives many options how to play with it. It allows amazing stagings, or at least very diverse stagings, which this year I think we saw. Also what we saw this year, and I think Portugal 2018 showed it, that we don't need LED screen, even though here it was a huge LED screen. In my opinion, the countries who didn't really use it extensively were the ones who did the best stagings, because they were the most creative. And I think you saw, or you can watch the video I did about 5 best stagings, but also my masterclass for members only, which shows how you can play, what tricks countries were using, and so on. And each year the technology also changed. So I think every year a new stage, a better stage, or different stage, it's vital, because this is something you crave, how it will look. Also, I think you cannot adapt one stage to all the arenas and all the needs. So, and also I think new stage, it's new job opportunities for everybody. So yes, this is what I would say to this. I hope this is an answer you can accept. And let's move on to the answers from non-members. I really hope that I didn't miss any member in here. If I did, I'm really sorry, but I hope I'm not. So from CJ Shield 7661. Hi Jan, would Česká televize, Czech television, be allowed to offer a tender to private TV networks in Czech Republic in terms of assisting in all or part of the Czech selection process? We've seen this in other countries such as Ukraine, Germany, and Israel, where the public broadcasters in those countries are restricted by budgets, low audience shares, and other rules. Working with private TV networks has had a positive impact on those countries, particularly in terms of popularity and moving ESC more to the mainstream, and it would be great to see the same in CZ. Love from UK, Chris. Chris, thank you for this message. Actually, I agree that it would be amazing, because first of all, budget. First of all, I think yes, budget makes sense in this, and also some, I don't want to say professionality, but different commercial approach could really help such a thing. Also, it's a mutual, in my opinion, this project, Eurovision, is mutual for both markets. So let's say public broadcaster, independent market, which is not about to make a profit, and the market which are here for this case, which is commercial. Because after all, they create something which they can both monetize somehow. Czech television for doing something for the future of Czech music and Czech television industry in general, and commercial TV to finding new stars which can after all be used for their cases and for their shows. So this would be perfect. I actually gave the commercial TV in Czech television in Czech Republic environment, which I was working last 3 years for, a project which exactly this implies. I would be very open to this, and also they have it there, but I'm not sure that Czech environment, or now the setup in Czech environment, TV and music industry is still ready for such a thing. Even though I think everybody would just profit from this. They have it there in their. They have it there. They have it. It's existing such format also, and such platform on the paper. I think also a German broadcaster has this there. So let's see in the future. There are many ideas probably, and if this would be an idea I would go for, yes, it would, because it would help everybody. After all, commercial TVs, television in general, artists, music industry. It's something what is missing here in general, and the funny thing about it, it would cost much less than buying licenses for some other shows, which after all has no other continuation. So yes, that's something I would definitely do. Another question from Lori Francis 8171. Do you see the EBU restricting media credentials next year, or will there be a change in how the contest deal with media as a result of this year? Let's see what's gonna happen to in EBU. I think they definitely need to do themselves a very honest feedback also, because the communication from EBU in past years, not just this year, past years, we had this scandal of voting, never really communicated well. We had many scandals this year. The communication just is not good. Some people from EBU say it's completely different thing than the other ones, even from other TVs. I think this is a general issue of television industry in general, that we say left hand don't know what the right hand is doing. I also think that this communication from EBU doesn't help with, let's say, radicalization of the fan media and hardcore fans in general. We see it this year that anti-Semitism, or helping this narrative from this side, and not really be strict about to ban it, proved that that doesn't really work. I would be for restricting some media, and or I would do it differently. If I'm EBU, I will ask all the partners, which are all the TVs, for the feedback. Really do a big meeting, even though it costs money, but big meeting about it, like 3 days or something, to really talk it through, all of it, what happened, how it can be prevented. I would definitely probably rechange the department which is responsible for PR of EBU and all the countries in general, to somehow connect it better, and try to do some workshop also for fan medias and influential people around the bubble. Even though it's small, I think it's worth it, because this is very important to understand how things really work, and to educate. This I think should be the step from Public Broadcaster Union in general, to not be restrictive but be more open. But also, in my opinion, there are so many people, journalists, let's say, whatever, who got accreditation, and they completely went beyond something acceptable, in my opinion. And in this case, I would definitely go with bans, or much more restrictive approach. But I think this is also on the way of countries. If television public broadcasters in other countries are okay with such behaviors, then EBU cannot do anything, because after all, the countries are doing the accreditations, not really strictly EBU. So this, in my opinion, it's very important to do. For example, I saw some head of presses going with Palestinian symbols in the bubble very proudly. I got it, but it's not. It doesn't belong there, especially in such a situation. For example, and I was like, okay, like if this is done by head of press very openly, very political statement, and it is in this case political statement. Even though anybody can have political opinions what they want, but they must understand where they belong and where they not. What? How can we save Eurovision if this behavior is accepted by delegations? So I don't know. I would definitely be for more education necessary, and maybe even it costs more money. I think this is the role of EBU and all the broadcasters, much more urge than Eurovision itself, in my opinion. Can you comment on the hypothesis that you made that the rest of the world vote would have an impact on the last qualifying spots in the semifinals? Is the ROTV vote here to stay? Well, I'm not a huge fan of rest of the world voting because it implies that people will just vote based on, and actually even this year's general voting system completely implied voting, let's say politically, or not by watching it, but just for example, I will give you an example. People in here in Czechia, lots of people, that's why Israel was given 10 points, were sending points without even watching the show, because they could when the show start, they were sending it en masse, even though I don't know the basic number, but 10 points speaks for itself, because then Ukraine diaspora in here, it's absolutely huge, and also the narrative is huge. So 12 points for Ukraine basically is the same for 10 points for Israel. It's some kind of a statement at some point, but it was possible to do without watching it, just because people were reading news and they reacting on the hate against Israel at Eurovision this year and all those scandals, and they said like, okay, if we can help to support Israel some way, we will send them votes. And I think this can also happen to ROTV. Any kind of, doesn't matter actually, it's just one other thing. And also, this is something I think lots of people were calling a little bit more power to fan vote. So fan vote or people voting has one more column. It's one extra set of points against the juries. So in my opinion, I don't know, it had the impact, because we saw that for example in let's watch it actually. Let's put Eurovision World, and let's go with, for example, semi-final to where Czechia was. I think there was 5 or 6 points difference. And if we go with diaspora vote, ROTV voting, we saw that okay, Norway received 3 points, 1 point Czechia, and we saw that in here probably no difference was made that much. Let's see who received 10 points. Netherlands. If some borderline country receive a lot, no, not really. So in here basically it has done 0 difference, so not a huge impact as I expected. Not a huge, it would do an impact. For example, I think it's a combination of stuff. So for example, Czechia revealed their snippet, and because people could vote for from ROTV much sooner than even saw it, the snippet is the big thing. If in my opinion, if the snippet is better, was really impactful or something, applies for any other country. It's really, if it's really impactful, then then rest of the world voting could be those 6 points instead of 5. But this is a speculation, so I don't know. Let's watch the semi-final one, where also like 6 points was a difference from Australia to Serbia, which is unexpected for me a little bit. But it was this year a little bit different than my maths. Also, not that far away from truth, but at some point it depends on the perspective. I can also say it was very far from truth, to be honest. And let's say that also in here different kind of points sending would be better. But for example, I didn't expect that Ireland from the rest of the world will receive that much, but they sent the best snippet out of all the countries. So in my opinion, it matters in the combination of voting that you can vote in advance from rest of the world. The snippets it's much more powerful, and it can have impact to change the qualification odds. It didn't happen this year, but it can happen next year, because sometimes the difference, it's 2 points, and 2 points can be also from it, but it's a pure speculation. So I don't know. I think it will stay. Why not? It didn't prove itself unworthy, in my opinion. Philip Corton. Hi, are you considering working in Czech delegation in some way again? Like, it's not up to me if I consider. Like, if I will be given the offer would make sense for me and them, then I would definitely consider it. If nothing like this is on the table, I don't want to. There's no reason to answer it. But of course, it's always a prestige to work for a delegation, especially when it's your own country. So for sure. Czech Smaps. I have a question. Who was your favorite and least favorite song? And then with staging, was the biggest perfection and with was the worst this year? My favorite song was Swiss song, for sure. Like by all the songs, I think this was definitely my favorite. And then I would say Latvian song. I really like Don's song from the very beginning. It really reminds me of Take Me to Church song somehow. So I really liked it. But there are many. I didn't have like super clear favorite, but if I should pick one, I would take Switzerland. Least favorite song. My least favorite song for sure was Europapa. I didn't like the song in general at all, but I also would say probably Austria and also UK song. Those three songs I put out of my playlist to listen. But also I'm not hating them. I just it it's just not my thing. And then with staging was the biggest perfection for sure was Ireland in my opinion. That was perfect. That's just really simple perfection. Even though this year there were many very good stagings, Ireland for me stand out because it definitely goes with the formula of enhancing the song. Because for me, for example, Irish song also wasn't my favorite song. For example, I don't even consider it really a song. It was more like a theatrical play thing. But the staging completely reshaped it to an experience. Like it took all its disadvantages and create advantages over them. I think for me, also marketingly, from the perspective of creative, this was the perfection because it took something what, in my opinion, wasn't that strong and made it shine. That's all the time when you have any disadvantage, anything what feels like this is a threatening thing, and you can somehow use it as an advantage or use this as a purpose that can make things look perfect. And this, in my opinion, is the perfect case and the best staging of the year, in my opinion. And the worst, I think Moldova had a staging which absolutely went exactly oppositely. It didn't help the song at all. It was very graphical, it didn't help the song. It was a kitsch, didn't work. Poland, that was expensive disaster in my opinion. I don't want to laugh at it. There was some concept, nothing there worked. When I will do my masterclass about it, there is like so little things to say they were done good. Even though maybe the idea was nice, the execution of every single element didn't make sense. It didn't help the song in my opinion. And also I would say Latvia for me still like not ununderstandable why it works perfectly. First of all, we can speculate about those advertisements, right? Because Latvia also was supporting Dons, and I think this is a good thing that country or PR team is doing it, in my opinion, because it spreads the existence of the contest everywhere. But I would say that the song and Don's performance was so incredibly good, and the song really worked. After all, really worked live, and people after all liked it. That it doesn't matter what kind of staging it had. I think something like uh, Estonia. No, who was this? Who was this last year? Also, no, it was Lithuania. Who was this? I will find it because I want to tell exactly. Yes, like Lithuania last year, staging really not that good, but the performance was perfect. This year, I would say Latvia, amazing performance and singing, and the song is really strong, but the staging, that I like for me this I don't like it like really. And then I have nothing like I would say it was that bad or something, even though there are many examples which weren't perfect or overcomplicated or didn't work as a compact thing like Albania or Czechia, for example, or Australia, where the song was stronger than the rest of this, but didn't really was enough for qualification. Just Albania, where the song also wasn't that strong. Xander 2609. What's your best and your worst memory from the time you were a head of delegation? I have many very amazing memories. The best was like first qualification. I will never forget because have no one trust in us, not even like anywhere in the bubble, which we don't even know. In our own broadcaster, in here in Czechia, everybody thought like we had no chance. Of course, we were lucky because of juries. Thanks God for juries in the semifinals. We qualified. We didn't do amazingly good result, but it was common for the first time in country's history to even qualify, and it completely changed the narrative. And I cannot forget the extreme emotions when we qualified. Yes, that was perfect. Then I think amazing memory was with Lake Malawi, because that was the first year when I not just directed the staging, like camera work, effects and so on, but I also came with the idea how it will look completely, and the satisfaction it worked, because I know there were many people who hoped that we won't qualify just because they they didn't want me to succeed. I really remember this very, very much so. But this was perfect emotion, and also meeting other people from the bubble. What I had in a delegation bubble was that everybody is very, very supportive. Like really, so many people are supportive. Least people are not. I think really most of people were always extremely nice on me, on the team. And this is, I will never forget. I think for me, that's the reason why I love Eurovision, how I love, because the environment is just completely different from what I know, for example, from here. In general, it's just different, so this is perfect. And the worst memory, this is very clear, it's the one party in Kiiv where I was with other people in this big gay party, whatever, and then one guy probably had a feeling that there is something more in eye connection than just pure talk and fun, and he dragged me to the corner. It was very unpleasant, very, very unpleasant, and the ending was that of course I pushed him away, like not anymore. Then the whole party went a little bit silent, and then I kind of was asked to go away, even though I didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't want to have intercourse, so at this moment I kind of felt like, okay, that's how the woman can feel in the bar when guys are too much something. So that was my definitely worst memory, but this is also almost the only wrong memory I had from there. Even there were some tense moments also with the delegation, with some artists and so on, but I think this is part of it, of our producer work, and this doesn't matter the project. 12 Adriano, hey, do you think Slovakia could go back to Eurovision soon? And can you take or be willing to take delegation again, as you really proved yourself? Thank you very much for this proving. I think I proved myself for sure. I would be willing to do it again, of course, in under certain conditions for sure. And I don't think Slovakia is coming back anytime soon. I see what's happening in Slovakia in their scene. I don't see it. I don't see them coming anytime soon. Pitifully, but I think it would be amazing for their artists. It would be amazing for their music industry. But I don't think they feel it. I don't think they see it, and I don't think they are there now, and especially in the political situation they have there now. I don't see it. Also from 12 Adriano, if Czech Republic ever won, what do you think will be perfect? Petra Mede to run the show. Yes, who will be the perfect host? I don't know. For sure Libor Bouček and Leoš Mareš, that would be brilliant. Also Vašek Matějovský at some point. We don't have too many, like Zorka Hejdová for sure, that would be brilliant in my opinion. Because those are the hosts who knows how to do live, they have fun, they are very fast. They are very amazing to work with. Also, all of those four I mentioned, they also are able to give them like their own input into it. and I think they all four could be able to make it in English. In my opinion, I think they would be able to do it, even though maybe not like Petra Mede, because she's one of a kind. This is like spectacular. I think we can agree all of them that Petra Mede was the best host in last decade, even though we had UK there, no comparison, because such humor, such perfect English, French, charisma, singing, all of it. That's one of a kind, in my opinion, and she's absolutely perfect for the show like this, where it's a combination of respect, irony, fun, seriousness, and so on. So yeah, there's only one Petra Mede, but those four. If I just now really very fastly answer you, I would one of them, or all of them would be amazing. Also because I work with all of them and I know how they are as a professionals. ESC Hayden, what did you do to change the fortunes of Czechia when you were on the delegation? Huh. How much time do we have? Well, so many things I was allowed to do. I think this is very, very important to say that I couldn't change anything if there was no will for a change. But I was asked to go to take the delegation and change things. So first of all, I came with my mentality, which is winning. I don't like losing. I am a winner type. I think in general in Czechia we need to still change a lot of stuff, because we are first of all like to underestimate, then we like to underestimate others, and then we are not very wishing to success of others. And for example, when we started, it was a long process, but after a while we found out that we cannot really trust the Czech music industry, or at least the people who are the most influential at the moment. I think it also changed, but we couldn't, because they don't trust the project and they just want to deliver something they can dwell on, and we needed to say goodbye to those people, to do it ourselves, to build the project from the scratch with some philosophical, with some principles, with some mood. But for example, the first year we after all said like, okay, we will not cooperate with Czech music industry. We will find a way. We will find a song abroad, because we need to bring a competition in Czech market to see that we can work even without it. And this strategy over 2-3 years was working. It worked because then other people came with the like, we want to also have a share of this. We also can produce music. We also can do it. There is some very amazing project with songwriting camp, which has a completely different philosophy than doing songs for Eurovision, and doing very nice songs. I think also Pedestal is from this songwriting camp, but I'm not sure about it. But for example, Lake Malawi song is from this camp, or I'm not sure Vesna's song is from this camp, but definitely the song from before the Lights Off is from this camp. And so many other songs, but also other artists and so on are willing to go to Eurovision. I think this year we proved it. There was Midi Rabike, there was Lenny and so on, people who didn't want to come to Eurovision, and now the brand is bigger. So we put a fundament to the change, that people understood that this project matters, that this project is marketingly worth it, that this project can rise your numbers, and this project is not about shitty music, but it's about your music. I think this is the biggest thing, that we over time changed the strategy to find song for Eurovision, find Eurovision song for Eurovision. We said no, if you go there as an artist, go there with your own music, and ideally send your best music you have at the time, because this is the one we want. Because after all, Eurovision will end up, and so what? You have a single which is not correlating with your music career, or you will have a single which is something you can find on your album. So this was our strategy. This is what we changed a lot, and I think we changed a lot of the approach. And Eurovision is not a harsh word anymore in here, especially for artists, in my opinion. Even though I think they still don't really understand what it is somehow, but I think this is a mistake of the music and TV industry in here in general, that people don't see the opportunities it has. Very similar to UK, where I don't get why it's similar, but we are on the better track, let's say, in this, because we were also, I think what changed a lot, that we were very personal. I was very personal with the artist. I replied all their emails. I was very honest with the feedback, even the ones who didn't even make it to the shortlist, and so on and so on. Also, I think what changed the fortunes, that we were willing to learn. So when I first came to Eurovision, I didn't know anything about it that much. I thought I'm top of the top, because in this market I was on the top. And when I came there, I found out I know nothing about modern television, so I needed to learn. It pushed my boundaries a lot. I learned, and I'm still learning a lot, because I want to be relevant, I want to be the best, and I want to bring in completely different approach than in Czechia or other many Eastern countries. It's usual. I really want, when I go somewhere, to know a lot, and I'm learning all the time. And if I want to win and succeed at Eurovision, I needed to be partner for my artists, and every year I think I improved this a lot, also proving myself this. So yes, I think we changed the approach. This was changed the fortunes. Oh my god, I could talk about this all day long. And I think we need to not keep maintaining this level. What I think we finally need to go upper, because okay, I started some changes, fundaments and so on. We make this, and now finally after 4 years I'm not there. It's time to rise the expectations, do things better than I ever did 4 years ago. James Duper, sorry if I say it wrongly. With Czechia being established in Eurovision again and showing they can do well in it, do you think that could inspire Slovakia to return anytime? No. I think those two countries have nothing in common in general, just the language, especially nowadays. I think there's not too much inspiration going this and that way. It would be amazing. I would be very glad, but I don't think it's happening. Pliskolav. From your experience of being Czech HOD, how much you were affected by the odds and the options of the fans? A little bit, but not that much, because I was confident. I knew what I do. I was believing in our ideas. Some people, I think, not even the people completely in the core team, but the people who are a little bit around team, they were much more affected, and the people around the artist much more affected than us. And those people then can create a really unnecessary toxic environment and doubts. But not really that much if you trust yourself a lot. I don't know how it's now. I think it's different when you're completely lost in the odds and you think you need to completely change stuff. I think overthinking is our biggest enemy at some point, but the feedback is the feedback. It depends how you analyze it. So if you feel that something is wrong, for example in 2017 we didn't feel it and it was wrong, and we did so many wrong steps. Of course, because of those steps we learned a lot. That's why it was only one non-qualification in my era, you know. I think we learned a lot, and we were very honest with our feedback and very tough on ourselves also, and we wanted to do things better. But not really that much. Even I was all the time, whenever I had a free time, to watch videos and so on. That's why I know the community very well at some point, because I was watching all the videos. Come on, and I read all the articles and all the comments. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I didn't agree, but I wanted to understand the community also. Did bad odds lead to more risky staging? No, you cannot. Even though you cannot, at a certain point you need to decide what the staging will be. Then you can change the light a little bit, you can change the camera angles, but the principles you cannot change. And then the odds are moving extremely or don't, but you cannot do anything about it. You must stick to your idea, you must make it as best as possible, you must hope that your artist is prepared the best as possible, ready for it, and just go with the flow. And then it's up to viewers and juries. Now about viewers, basically, because it's just semifinals, this is the most important. And how the artist feels about them. It depends. They are different. Are they ignoring them completely? Some of them ignore completely everything, and I think this is the best strategy. Some of them are reading everything, which is not really the best strategy, because then they are doubting everything, or at least trying to. And this is the middle way. This is the most artists. I think most artists are trying to avoid it, but they cannot. Okay, last question. Eurofine 98. When you judge the auditions for the Luxembourg Song Contest, what to you were the most funniest moment from that trip? Cesar Samson. I think Cesar Samson, because he came with some video game claim or something, and then he was repeating all the time somehow in different tones, and he like he's amazingly funny person, and he eased all the tenses even they were nothing, but so much fun. But I would say that all the group of juries were amazing, and they create so many funny moments. It was all nice. There was one very cringe moment which was also funny, but I will keep it for myself, which has nothing to do with the jury. And then it was more like pleasant, because for me it was amazingly nice to see that country like Luxembourg is doing something what I tried to do in Czechia unsuccessfully. Kind of didn't. The approach from the beginning in Luxembourg was just high standard, and they succeed with this after all. So it's worth it. And the nice moment was when I was going around the city and I was asking people questions for my vlog. What do you think about Eurovision Song Contest in Luxembourg? And they were all very, very positive. And this is something, what I don't know from here. And all this atmosphere, it's just brilliant. So for me, this was nice. And that's also nice that I read and answered all your questions. I don't know how long is this video, probably very, very long. I hope you watched until here, that you enjoyed. If you want to support this channel, you can give it a super like or buy me a coffee, or ideally become a member and also be given exclusive content and exclusive time exclusivity for my videos. Also supporting me as a person, also this project, YouTube in general, because I really enjoy it. I'm glad for everybody who supports me and who watch all the videos, comes to conclusions after they know the context. I think I try not to be polarizing, even though I think I kinda am at some point. But I just have my grounds and standards, and I want to be honest to you also. I want to give you me. This is the reason why some of you are also paying me for it. And I will just tend to keep it. So this is what I will do, also trying answering your question as honest as possible and as complex as possible. I think this is even more important. And that's it. I hope you enjoy it. If you have additional question, please keep them for yourself, not because I don't want to answer it, but if you have something you want me to talk about, I think in 2 weeks again, I will ask you to give me your questions, and I will do another video like this for answering. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.